Hello again, it's Devin with Spirit World. I'm the whiskey nerd of the store. In a previous video, we talked about peat. What is peat? Our customers kept asking us, what makes a Scotch peaty? What makes it smoky? Beyond just taking peat moss and burning it and infusing that into the barley. On a scientific level, we're going to describe how peat is influencing whiskey. So this peat moss, this is a mixture of organic material. Peat is moss, heather flower, other organics that have decomposed and over time compressed into a very rich, very condensed material that once aged for about 10 to 20,000 years will burn as efficient as coal. This smoke that comes off the peat and attaches to the barley, that is what's known as phenols. So phenols are what we measure smoky Scotch in the intensity of that smoke in our whiskey. In our menu, we focus in on what makes each single malt different and unique, and the phenol content is just one of those facets that makes each single malt stand out apart from each other. For instance, Laphroaig is peated to roughly 38 parts per million phenol content. That means the barley was peated for every 1 million particles inside a drop of whiskey. There's only 38 particles that's peat. So that's an intense flavor. And that carries through the distillation, the barrel aging process, and the bottling. If you look at the whiskeys here that we have, Bowmore, that's peated to roughly 25 parts per million. We have Laphroaig peated to roughly 38 parts per million. And then we have this big daddy, the Octomore from the Bruichladdich distillery. This is peated to 167 parts per million phenol content. It's one of the peatiest whiskeys in the world. When we say peat, we're not saying that there's actual peat moss shoved down in the bottle. The peat is burned and that smoke infuses into the barley and passes through the distillation process, creating a very robust and intense whiskey. There's two different styles of flavors that can be entered into the whiskey, peat and smoke. The intensity of the smoke can vary from whiskey to whiskey, from distillery to distillery, and how they process the peat. So when you look at our menu and you see the ppm level, you need to ask yourself, what do you like about the scotches that you drink? Do you prefer something that's smoky, or do you prefer something that's peaty? And our bartenders, we're going to make sure that we get you the right glass. So if you have any questions about peat, come find us at Spirit World and get yourself a dram.